welcome to my messy table. Today I'm playing at making cards using up scrap papers, little bits of scrap fabric, buttons, lace and die cut things that I've made. So I just thought I'd bring you along for a play and let's hope we can have some fun. So I'm just using cardstock, cards that I've already bought that are an A6 size. So they measure, the cards measure, I'll do it in inches, just over 4 inches and 5 3/4 inches, and it's quite good quality cardstock with a matching envelope. And what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to play with whatever I've got here. I've just got a pile of scrap papers that I've used in other projects, and they're the bits that are left over, and so I'm just going to have a little play and see what we can come up with. So I don't usually, I don't work precisely, so of course if you want to go ahead and measure things, then you go ahead and measure, but I just do things by eye usually. One thing I won't be doing today that I usually do is sew around the edges of the pieces of card on top. I usually just use a straight stitch on my sewing machine, and it just gives it a little added dimension as well when you're making cards. But because I'm doing this video and I'm fairly new to doing these videos on YouTube, I thought I better not get the sewing machine out as well today because I might make one heck of a mess. So I'm going to use this paper that's got lovely feathers on, and it's, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera, but it's got a little bit of glitter all over it, so I'm going to use that. And the glue that I choose to use when something's a heavier card is Cosmic Shimmer. I use this in most of my crafting and find it really one of the best ones to be using. So just a little bit of glue all over the back of it, and that's the base sorted. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way for these. The feathers are in all directions, so it can just go on. So there's the base of the card. Quite a nice card. I'll just give it a wipe over with my bone folder. So there's the base. So now I have to find some toppers that will match, that don't clash too much. Let me see. Please excuse my phone. I forgot to put it on silent before I started. And of course, the world and his wife want me just now. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to tear this just to make an edge. These paper pads that I'm using now, they were fantastic value. For those of you that don't know me, I live in Greece. I live on a small island in Greece called Kalymnos. But I am from England. I'm from Burnley in England. And I go home fairly regularly to visit family and friends, particularly my gorgeous grandson Freddie, who is 6 years old. So while I'm home, I have a shop, craft things, clothes, everything, and I got these paper pads from the works. I couldn't believe the price of them. They were really good value, and I've used them in lots of different things. So I'm using some Distress ink just to go around the edge, again just to give it a little bit of a dimension. and the ink that I'm using is a Ranger ink, a Ranger Distress Oxide ink, and it's Vintage Photo. And I don't have a dabber, I use makeup sponges until they disintegrate. So again, because it's going on this heavy card, I'm going to use my glue rather than a glue stick, because sometimes the glue sticks just don't hold it when it's on a textured card. So I'm just going to place that there. It matches quite well, and the Distress ink lifts it off the page slightly. I'm quite pleased with that so far. Put your top on, Lorraine, or else it'll be solid. And then what I'm going to use, I've been using up book pages that I've got, some vintage book pages. So I've been die cutting some of the pages. The heart and the circle I've put on chipboard, so they are quite chunky things. They really are nice. And again, I've distressed them around the edges with the with the Vintage Photo. And the butterfly one is just on card. Obviously it's got two sides to it. If you can hear that scratching, that's my dogs. I'm sat in where I do my crafting, and it's really cold, so I've got a little heater on. So of course I've got company today. So forgive them if you can hear them, but they're just trying to stay warm. Although I live in Greece, it's quite cold this time of year. The temperature today is 7 degrees. Really sunny, a beautiful day, but the wind coming off the sea makes it really cold. So I don't know whether to have this. I might have the butterfly on this one actually. The butterfly. And what I'm going to do for the butterfly, first of all, I'm going to put some lace behind, just in little areas where you can see. So I'm going to do that, and for that I'm going to use this silicone glue, because it does the fabrics a little bit better. It takes longer to dry. Maybe I'm not going to use it because it doesn't want to play today. I've used it once this morning, so it should do. I'll use my letter. It don't want to play. So I'll just put some at the top of that scrap of lace. I don't throw anything away, I just, 1 inch that? And I just keep most things. So I'm just going to stick it on the back of there, just to give a little bit of, in fact I might tilt it slightly, just a little bit there. And just have a tiny little bit of something else for the top. A little bit of fabric. No. What else have I got here? Oh, I'll have to do. So you can see how the lace stands out on there. Oops, I've just realised I've done the book upside down, but hey ho, never mind. So now I will stick the butterfly. You could use dimensionals so that it stands off from the page, from the card. But because I'm in Greece, I send most of my cards to England or to other countries where I have friends. So I try not to get anything that's too bulky, just because of the postage cost. But it would look nice in relief off of the page. The glue that I use, you see it's seeped out from behind the butterfly, but I don't worry about that because it will dry clear. So what I need to do now is just put some little blingy bits on it, so if you'll excuse me, I haven't got them out. So we've got so I've got pearls and diamonds. I won't put pearls on this one because I don't think it's shouting out for pearls, but I will put some diamonds on the butterfly. Just down where the body of the butterfly is. I'll just put a little row of these little Diamante stickers. I love these, I use them lots and lots and lots. And what I might also do is just put some on the edge here. So we've had quite a good winter here in Greece. We've had quite a bit of rain, but then we need the rain for the summer months when it doesn't rain. And it hasn't been as cold as previous years. We've been here 3 years now, living here, and I could not believe how cold the winters were. I expected to be sunbathing, I think, all year round. But hey ho, I didn't. So there's the base of the card, and what I would do, I'll show you one that I've made previously. This same style is I would find a little sentiment to put on top of the heart or the butterfly, but I'm not going to do, because I'm going to keep this one until I decide what it's to be used for, and then I'll find a matching sentiment. But what I will do, like on here, I'll put a little bit of lace. I think the cream lace is the best option. So just a tiny little bit of lace here. Straighten it out because it's got all crinkly. And I might put this. Where shall I put this? No, I'll put it underneath the butterfly. Just dab my glue there. Put a little bit of lace. And then I've got some vintage buttons. The lady that lived in the house where we are now, when she left all of her sewing things, and there was a tin, a very old tin, filled with vintage buttons. So I was very thankful to her, and I use them a lot. So there, that's one card finished. Really simple, and a really good way of using up all of your scraps that you've got from all your different projects. What I will do now, I'll show you what I do with the envelopes, because I trim the envelopes, I decorate the envelopes to match the card. So again, using a little bit of the green card, I just tear off tiny little snippets, and just take those off. I don't like the straight edges, so we'll just take those off, the straight edges. There we go. And I'm going to just go along the edges again with the vintage photo, just to give it some depth. And I just put a little bit there. It just makes the envelope a little bit more interesting, and the person that receives it can then see how much care you've taken on making the cards. I could, I suppose, use a tiny little bit of a feather on top of these as well. This is a little bit tougher to cut or to tear, because it's a good card. I couldn't believe how good they were, these paper packs. So again, just around the edges, and I'll put it that way, that's it. So we'll put this one down first, the plain green. Corner. Obviously I don't put it here because that's where the stamps go. And in Greece, when I'm sending anything, we're supposed to put our address, our return address, here at the top of the envelope. But I don't, when I've been making them like this, or I could, I suppose, send them in a plain envelope, put this inside a plain envelope, and that would solve that problem. Oops, sorry about that. I haven't done that. Let me just do that edge. I hope you're all having a lovely day. I hope you're all managing to get some crafting done. I'm usually making junk journals. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll see there's a couple of videos on with junk journals that I've made. But I've made handmade cards for years, really. I've tried all different mediums to make the cards. And I've just missed making cards. I'd made so many journals recently for people that I just thought I fancy having a go at some cards. So I'm back on making cards, just for a little while. So again, just adding a little bit of bling that'll coordinate with the card. Excuse me. So there's the envelope, finished. So I think it's just really nice how together, I think if I received a card like that somebody'd taken care of, then I'd be quite pleased. So that's the first one finished. I will do another one. Pardon me, I've got a bit of a tickle.